SRN National News Update brought to you by Spark Clean Cleaning Services. 6 children hospitalized over an ammonia leak in Keswick have been released. Former Ontario PC leader Patrick Brown wants to chair Peel Region Council. And a park is being named after newsreader Lloyd Robertson. Sunny, 25. Spark Clean Cleaning Services now on Groupon, 289-383-3359. I'll have more later.
The starter has called the field to the gate. This field is in motion and approaching the start. And they're off. And it's a battle into the first turn for control. The battle continues by the half and approaching the far turn. Stride for stride past the three-quarter pole and approaching the top of the stretch. And as they hit the top of the stretch, it's Mission Brief, foiled again, Muscle Hill, Captain Treacherous, and Vegas Vacation, Lucky Jim, a rock and roll dance, Be a Magician, Sebastian K approaches the line, Guccio is coming late, and as they hit the wire, it's too close to call.
Now here's North American Harness Update on SRN1.
Bang, 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 bang. 4 shots straight into my groin, and I was off on the adventure of my life, and I sure hope you are ready to join me on that adventure. The continuation of shots into my groin, as famously said by Max Schulman, great author of the 1970s, 60s, some point within the Algonquin era, but this is not the show where I use big words. That's North American Big Word Update, premiering in January of 2027. This is, however, North American Harness Update, where I, Ray Cotolo, dressed appropriately in the garb of a 30-something man who just can't get his life together yet sweats mostly for the sex appeal, joined here by Mike Pribozie and Rod Allums Jr. to take you through the weekend's harness racing action, including live harness racing action tonight, this evening, happening in the moments that you're listening to this show as it occurs. That's as clear a definition of live as I can give at this state in my mortal coil. So, included in that live action is the late pick 4 at the Meadowlands, a $50,000 guaranteed pool starting in race number 8. We'll be going over our tickets for that momentarily. Aside from the live action, that's right, you have the not live action. The archived action? No, it's not archived. It's going to be action. It will at one point be action, but that point is tomorrow, Saturday, July 7th, over at the Meadowlands again. We're getting ready for another big stakes weekend with the Meadowlands Pace. 2 eliminations for that, alongside those $250,000 finals of the Graduate Pace and the Graduate Trot for 4-year-olds, and then a prep for the Filly Trotters, the 3-year-old fillies on the road to the Hambletonian Oaks in the $66,000 Reynolds Trot. But that's not all, ladies and gentlemen. No siree. That's not all you're going home with. You're also going to get a late pick 4 from Running Aces for Sunday, July 8th. 75, or did they up the guarantee, Rod? Rod, did they up the guarantee? Is it 75 or 10?
$7,500.
$7,500 guaranteed pick 4.
No, 100.
100?
100.
No, 7,500, right? We need our fact checkers. Get in here, Rod. We're gonna get our fact checkers on it. Don't worry. This is where all your taxpayer dollars are going towards funding unnecessarily complex bureaucracies. So in the hopes that the republic doesn't fall. But that pick 4 also includes eliminations for the Dan Patch Stakes, the marquee race. And I don't mean to shout out a McDonald. Marquee race at Running Aces Casino and Racetrack for older pacers. That final happens Sunday, July 22nd, when North American Harness Update is live from Running Aces in Columbus, Minnesota. All that and more happening over the next 2 hours. So first things first, you're thinking, how are they going to jam-pack this 2 hours with 5 hours worth of content? That's a really great question that I would like to answer by going back to the day I was born. I exited...
No.
The first thing we need to do is shut Ray up, which is extremely difficult. And then we start talking about races.
Yeah, nice.
That's pretty good. Not good
well,
for radio, but very funny for video, right?
Yeah, so
Well,
if you were listening...
What's with the tie, by the way?
What's with what?
What's with the tie?
Did you not miss the introduction? I'm going for a new look this evening.
Yeah, I got it.
Oh, okay, now you get it. Okay, so it takes a little bit. That's one thing that makes me unique from other performers. I'm a very cerebral kind of guy. It takes a couple of seconds for anything I say to really dig deep into the brainial cortex of the consciousness, and that's why sometimes I have to visualize the beats it takes for anything to make sense by just pounding it into you. But that's for another time. That time's not now. The time now is currently 9:06 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which if you transpose that to the other time zones would be 8:06 Central Daylight Time, 7:06 Mountain Daylight Time, and 6:06 Pacific Daylight Time. We could keep going, but those are the only time zones I was taught in my geography class. I hear people talking, but they aren't me, and so I'm not listening. Let's get rolling into this pick 4 at the Meadowlands Racetrack, as I'm currently riding a huge wave of ego and caffeine that cannot be stopped. It is a tsunami of narcissism bringing me into the $50,000 guaranteed Meadowlands pick 4, which is a big blow to the character I'm presenting this evening. I did not hit last week. However, Rod did give out the ticket last week for $500.
Again.
No, not again, because the last one you gave out was for $2,000.
I will agree.
Rod,
2,100 when we were at Hawthorne, given out at NahooPicks.com, and last week for $525.
Yeah, 5 something last week.
If you're talking about the extra $25, Rod, I don't know if that's really relevant in context of 500 smackaroonies. However, it could potentially pay that well tonight. I think it's a good sequence, although we have a lot of consensus this evening, which is unusual, but we'll talk about it. This first leg of the pick 4 is the 8th race. The 8th race being a filly and mare hours of $11,500 condition pace, going for a purse of several $1,000s, which we don't really need to know or care about because it doesn't impact us. However, we have 10 horses going postward in a very competitive field of horses moving up the class ladder, moving down the class ladder, and staying perfectly still in the middle of the class ladder, not wanting to either go up or go down. But that said, I'm going to start off with you, Rod, because you're the deepest of all of us, taking 6.
Yeah, I'm 6 deep here in the 8th race. Start with the 1 Pen Pal. She loves the Meadowlands. This is her track. She's won here several times and been racing at Pocono. That's not really her type of track because she's a closer. She's best when she's coming from off the pace. And, being at Pocono, you can't really win with that style of racing very often. So the move back to the big track is huge for me. I think you have to have her on your ticket. The 4, Beyonce's Rockin', first over move last week, raced very well. It was against a bit cheaper, but, Dave Miller jumps on here. I think this horse has a shot and might look for a trip, but I think with the driver change to Dave Miller, maybe this is a wake-up call for her. 7, Storm Tracker. Last time was just okay, but, that was a pretty fast race there. Win 2 starts back, very nice effort there. And, Scott Zeron drives tonight. I'm not real sure why Tim Teacher wasn't listed on this horse. He doesn't have a drive in the race. But regardless, she's been racing well. She's been racing against a little bit tougher horses compared to most of these. So I think you got to use her. She's probably going to be a little bit of a short price. The 8 Spring 4th, been racing very well. Her first start here at the Meadowlands, was a pretty good one, finished second, come from off the pace. And I actually had her last week as well. And, that was a good race. I think she's going to get a similar trip in here and just needs some pace to close into. The 9 Rockin' Praline is obvious. Winner last start in 15 apiece, and you have to have her on your ticket. She made 3 separate moves in that race to win, and it really was impressive. Does she come back and do the same type of race? I'm not sure. Then the 10 Perplexed. Obviously, 10 hole is the concern here, but you look at her lone Meadowlands start, 2 starts back, 50 and change. She plays, and against this field, she could upset them, and she's going to be a decent price as well. So 6 deep, 1, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Wow, Rod, that's sure deep. Mike, however, you have a bit more of a concise opinion about this race. You're taking 4.
4, and I use 4 that Rod uses. The 1 pen pal, like he says, back to the big track. 0 for 9 this year. Likely needs to get herself back home. She fits anywhere from a class standpoint. It's just a matter of what kind of drive you get from a chance. And she has shown some speed at Pocono, which, like Rod said, you pretty much need to do to have any kind of chance at all. The 4 Beyonce's Rocking draws well, which is the only reason I used. Won 10 times last year, only once this year. That's an issue. But I feel like, the switch to Dave Miller helps. And, she's been close recently. She could trip out, especially from this post and with this driver. The 7's obvious. Drops 1 at this level, 2 back. In quick times. Has been right there all year. 6 wins out of 14 races. And then the 9 Rockin' Praline, who, races, is a bit off and on here, but was 1-9 last time off the drop and won like a 1-9. Steps back up into a field that, she should be competitive in. So I'll use her also. 1, 4, 7, 9.
I somewhat agree. I'm on you with the 1 and the 4. Pen Pal, definitely a big plus that she's moving back to the Meadowlands where she's raced well at the past. Not only that, but she also has been trying to race from off the pace over at Pocono, which most of us know is not really the prime place to be at a Pocono Downs. But I also agree with the 4 Beyonce's Rockin' too, even though she's moving up in class. That last mile in particular does stand out. I do also use the 9 Rockin' Praline. I feel like she can be the best horse in this race given the form she's shown in her last few starts. It's just she has to be that horse, which whether she will be or not, I can only know so much. And then I also use the 8 Springforth. He's the 4th horse I use, or she's the 4th horse I use, pardon me. She kicked home unusually fast last time out to be second to Rockin' Praline, and even though she's also moving up in class, a move like that, given that she could get another trip from post 8 that's similar to the one she got last week, makes me wonder if she could pull off an upset here. So I'm 1, 4, 8, 9. I don't like Storm Tracker for one reason only. She has some really weird dates, and her last start was off of like 2 weeks. She's off of 2 weeks again. And it seems like she's just a bit off her game. They're trying to figure out something with her. That's at least what I'm theorizing. She can beat me.
She's been consistent this year, though. So she's lightly raced to begin with, though. 4-year-old, only 19 starts.
Yeah, but then the only race she won against similar was when it was a 6-horse field, and there's so many other angles that I just make me dislike here.
Race.
She won.
I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying that I don't feel like that this is necessarily a negative on a horse that only has 19 lifetime starts and has won 9 of them.
I just feel she's more beatable than usable, so I don't use.
Okay. All right.
1, 4, 8, 9 for me. Now the second leg of the sequence, the 9th race, we all use the same 3 horses. 2, 4, 7. So who here has the best opinion, except other than me? Because we all know I have the greatest opinion, the one that most people agree with, that is insurmountable. But I can't talk forever because I'm hosting. So you two have to fight for it. Fight.
We're not fighting, but I'll go first. So yeah, 2, 4, and 7 for all of us here. Classic Cat. Last week got run into. I think it's pretty obvious to have. Was placed second. I thought raced very well. Was first over for quite a ways, and Hambo eligible. I think you have to have this horse. And this horse might be decent value as well, and pretty much as solid as they come. The 4, Tactical Landing. This one, first start for Jimmy Takter. This horse, without going into too much detail, I guess this horse is one of the fastest horses as a 3-year-old trotter this year right now. But he has issues. He's got to hold himself together. If you watch the qualifier, the last qualifier, Jimmy Takter was absolutely strangling this horse. He had a ton left. He could go way more than what he went in that qualifier. It's just trying to keep him on gate. So that's the issue with him. And then the 7, Southwind Chrome. This one is probably going to take quite a bit of money. Deserves to. Another Hambo eligible. And, the lines speak for themselves on this one. 51 and change over at Vernon in his 3rd start back this year, and or 3rd lifetime start, and winning 54 very easily last time here at the Meadowlands. So that's the reason why I'm using those 3 horses.
Now, Rod, I have a question as a simpleton who has not been around a horse because he's afraid that they're going to kill him. So I watched the qualifier because you told me to, a Tactical Landing. And how similar does a stranglehold look to a guy just trying to keep the horse flat? Or are they the same thing?
Well, it depends on what you're trying to accomplish.
Okay.
He was trying to keep the horse flat, and he didn't want him, obviously, to make a break again in the qualifier.
Yeah.
So it's a combination of both there. You want to keep the horse flat, obviously, to get him to the races, but at the same time, you don't want him going all out and hurting himself because he hasn't raced this year. So it's a little bit of both.
And if you want to see for yourself, that was the 14th qualifier on the 23rd of June. You can get that over at the Meadowlands website, thebigm.com. If you want to see for yourself what we're talking about, I keep tangling the mic in this cord. But I watched that qualifier, and to me, it seemed more like he was trying to keep him flat, but it could very well just be a mixture of both. Do you have anything else to add, Mike? Because I really don't. Rod touched on all the key points about these horses.
I agree. I mean, the 2 came off an interference break last time. The 4 is an unknown, could be anything, like Rod said. And then the 7 looks extremely obvious. Was 1-9 last time. Won't be that price with those other 2 in here. Probably closer to 4 to 5. All 3 need to be used, and it's very chalky there.
Third leg's the 10th race, and that race is a non-winners at 3,500 for Filly and Mare Pacers. We got bottom-level gals going for the prize. We got 10 horses going poster here all together, and now, Mike, you get to start things off because this was the race where you really spread out.
Yeah, 5 deep here. I'll start with the 1, the Second Star. This horse was okay last time. Kicked home 27-4. Had a couple tough trips prior to that. I like the inside post. One reason to use that one. The 3 Jenna Hanover, 15-1 morning line. This horse had 2 9-holes in a row and then a 6-hole at Yonkers. So just awful post. If you look back to June 8th line, that's not a bad race. The horse was 3-2 in there versus similar types. This horse always seems to kick home well, just is always sort of left with too much to do. The inside post tonight and the lack of, I'd say, depth in this field makes this horse a contender. The 5, Cedar Hall Heiress. This horse raced better last time. A little bit of a wake-up after being 10th, 2 back. Ended up 3rd at almost 80-1. Won twice this year. Has 16 lifetime wins and gets Marcus Miller. I think all of those are extremely positive. So, and this is another one that's 12-1 morning line. The 7, Sheer Talent. This horse drops from numbers of 5,000 into the numbers of 3,500. It comes over from Yonkers, and this is strictly to a trainer. I like Osceola no matter where he is. He's dominant at Woodbine, decent at Yonkers and decent at Meadowlands. There's a lot of positives with this horse, even though he doesn't necessarily like to win. I'm more interested in the connections. And then the 8, I Command My Spirit. This horse has raced well at the Meadowlands in the past, has a 50 lifetime mark here, 34 wins, comes back from Philly. Those numbers of 4,000 races are really not very good. But I like the track switch, and I'm going to use him on that basis. So 1, 3, 5, 7, 8.
Rod, you and I are in a bit more agreement here, except I don't like the Second Star, but you do.
Yeah, I throw this one on. Decent price play. Was just okay last time. But, you kind of take a look, and nothing in this race is any better than what this horse faced last time. I think she fits. She's got the rail. She's going to sit up close, and it's going to be, in contention the whole way. So that's why I'm using her. The 5, Cedar Hall Heiress, like Mike said, this one gets Marcus. I like that. Good post. I think could work out a decent trip here and follow some cover if that's what Marcus decides to do. This horse shows leaving last time and got shuffled. I think he's got the option here, and a good price play in my opinion. And then I also go outside to the 9, Darney's Hanover. First over last time, just got beat. Gets Yannick here. Similar class, same class basically. Has been first, second, third, fourth last 5 starts. This horse plays and doesn't win a ton, but
she's
plays
going to be a huge favorite in the race, don't you think?
Yeah, she's going to be bet. I don't know how big of a favorite she's going to be, just
I think
because
she's even money in the race.
Deserving money.
But she's a play, and even with the outside post, I think she's good enough to beat these. She's in contention every single week against this type of group, so I think you got to have her on the ticket anyway. So 1, 5, 9.
Rod, can you pronounce the name of the 9 horse again for me?
Dannery's Hanover.
Oh, okay. I thought you said like Darnia or something. I got confused.
No.
I agree with the 5 and the 9. I don't like the 1 just because she was purely okay, and it seems like she would have to really improve off of that effort to even beat the 5 and the 9, who I think are standouts on paper, considering, too, Cedar Hall Heiress was caught in a bit of confusion heading to the half and still kicked home strongly to finish third. That line really stands out to me, and assuming that no confusion like that happens again, I can only infer that she's going to be a contender. But the 9, Dannery's Hanover, I definitely agree, is probably going to be the favorite and the horse to beat in this race. Her outside draw doesn't really mean much aside from she's either going to have to A, leave, or B, trip out, which then again, you look at any race, those are really the only 2 options you have. But nonetheless, there's not much else to say. She has decent lines that make her look good. I can't make it any more complex than that, so I'm going to simplify it to that. Final leg of the sequence is I'm 5-9 in the 3rd leg. The 4th leg is even more interesting because not only did we all agree in the 2nd leg, we all agree in the 4th leg. We're all 4 and 8. So Rod was the spokesperson last time. Mike, why are the 4 and the 8 must-uses here?
The 4 is extremely obvious. It's Chocolate Tom. I've had this horse for me win before. Had the 9-hole last time at a ridiculously wide trip. Still kicked in 27 and 4 against Iron Mind Bucky, who has a ton of class. That horse ended up at the bottom also. This horse draws well, is going to be big favorite here. Then the 8, I'm going to use Sweet Royalty, strictly off a wake up at Saratoga. This horse has terrible dates, but last time somehow blew out by 6 3/4 after leading by 12 at the half, and was 2-1 there in a quick time. That's a fast time for up there. If this horse is good right now, I would hate to watch him get to the front and just kick away. So I'm 4-8 to finish.
Well, the other thing with that 8 horse, that mile was also off of a bunch of breaks, which I think makes it stand out even more.
Well, a little bit. I think, with this horse, the move to the big track, these RC Royalty horses are all kind of big horses. If you remember what he was a big, lanky type.
As we all do.
I think a lot of them do well on the 5/8 or the 7/8 mile track, the bigger tracks. But that was a good mile last time, and the move back here against a field that is highly questionable, I think you have to have this horse even from the outside, and you're going to get a little bit of value. You're probably not going to get a big price on this horse, but there's a little bit of value to be had there.
Potentially in the pick 4, given he is 5-1 on the morning line, and the 9 horse is for some reason 3-1. So I'm also 4-8, which makes my ticket go as follows. For 50 cents, I am.
Your name's Ray.
What? Okay, here we go. For 50 cents in this pick 4, I am 1489 with 247 with 59 with 48. That's $24 for 50 cents. Mike, what do you got?
It's 1479 with 247 with 13578 with 48. It's $60 for 50 cents.
Rodney!
1, 4, 7, 8, 9, 10 with 247 with 159 with 48. It's $54.
Can you say that in English, por favor?
No more favors.
Somehow Kendall Silster just paid 9 to 5 at Mohawk off that drop. Unbelievable.
What is she supposed to pay?
She should have been about 1 to 5 in that race.
Oh. I also have a talent of spotting out value once it comes in.
Oh, I bet it quite significantly. Trust me.
They're coming up on the 7th race over at the Meadowlands. The pick 4 starts in the 8th, so we have about 20 minutes until that sequence.
You gonna call this race? I got the feet up.
You want me to do the 7th? I can do the 7th. What are these, kindergarten horses?
They are.
Oh, let's
new ones.
Oh, let's handicap these impromptuly then. Okay, so let's see. We have Izzy Hanover's the 2 as the 4 to 5 favorite. And well, first off, like that should give you a sign who's going to win this race. But then the 5, Shaylo, is 9 to 2. Okay. If I pull up my program, let's see why the 2 is 4 to 5. Is it just because he's faster?
Qualifiers in 54 and 3 are just much faster than most, except for the 7.
And Nancy Johansson was talking this filly up, said she was well in hand in the qualifiers. In both qualifiers, they didn't press her at all. And
well bred too.
Yeah, she's bred out the yin yang.
Who was Ideal Newton? Why does that name sound familiar?
That was a good name.
Western Ideal on the bottom.
Well, I mean, there are so many Western.
Ideal Newton. She was a stakes mare.
Okay, that's what I thought. Because I remember seeing her in the Matchmaker, I think. The 3.
What's wrong with the 5?
There's another one. She's the second choice.
Yeah, I don't mind her much.
I'm actually on the 7.
Huh? What?
Well, you like all of Lanya's horses. But that 0 Tolerance did win first out easy.
Yes, that's why I like the 7. 0 Tolerance was the horse that when what was it, 51, I believe.
I think it was in 46.
No, it was like 51 and 2 or something. The horse that beat her in the last qualifier ended up winning. This horse has some sneaky speed, and 26 and 2 kicker in that last qualifier. That's pretty good.
What do you think of the 1 in the race? Just to maybe get a piece.
The 1, Sweet Lucy Lou. You could use this horse maybe a little bit underneath, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, there's things to like. 8-hole at Pocono, total toss, raced okay there. It was 125 to 1, but kicked home well enough. Draws inside, is completely ignored. It's 22 to 1. I don't know that she probably can't win, but she could maybe round out tries or supers.
The horse that I don't mind at a price is the 4, Key West. Yeah, I know it's another Alanya horse, but
shocking.
When's the check coming?
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I get the 2 back qualifier. I don't like when they regress though, like that second qualifier. Like that.
No, this horse didn't regress. Did not regress. That was a very slow half. Very slow half.
Shouldn't he have kicked home faster?
I get that, but didn't. I mean, I don't know.
This is one that they weren't pressing. This reminds me of the 2 horse as well. They weren't pressing this horse. She was just following. I completely understand those types of qualifiers. That's how I used to qualify my babies all the time.
But wouldn't you think that if they went slower, she should kick home faster?
Not necessarily. If you're just going out there to get that second start in, get another tightener mile in is basically why you're going back out there. It's not to go out there and go faster. It's just to get another experienced mile in.
What about the 6 here at 19 to 1? has had 3 qualifiers so far, and it looks like maybe just had some issues to get around. But last out, gunned to the lead and wired him over at Tioga. And I'd imagine that time at Tioga, it's slow, but the Meadowlands is also just a fast track in general, so that's why it doesn't stand out. And she's 22-1 right now.
Yeah, I mean the horse is okay.
She's actually looking a little rugged.
I would just underneath, honestly.
Or Callahan's trying to.
I don't know. I just feel like there's no value. There's not a lot of value in the 7 in the race,
I agree
unless you think that she can win.
Yes.
I mean, that's the thing. If you think she can win, then that makes the race playable.
I think she can win.
Okay, well that's fair. I'm not sure that they can beat the 2 in the race, but it is 2-year-olds. I mean, if you watch any of the Woodbine 2-year-olds this week, there's been a ton of upsets, but the track has been closers all week long. And that makes a difference, and I think especially with 2-year-olds, because a lot of those horses are raced from the front, and especially the horses that are running these fast qualifiers and racing well in these qualifiers. What do? They put them straight on the front and say go. Well, when the track's favoring closers, those horses fold up, and the horses that kind of sit back and are able to save energy end up winning at huge prices, because, these 2-year-olds are inexperienced and they're against the racetrack, and they're not really given much chance to win.
Part of me wonders with the 2-horse, just because I see this all the time, she just looks faster because she was chasing a faster horse, which makes me think she's beatable then. But at the same time, it's about which horse can beat her. And right now, there's nothing on the board.
But Ray, here's the thing.
Okay.
This horse looks like 3 and 4 seconds faster than everything, not just like 1. That makes a difference to me.
Well, like the 5, for instance, is somewhat close. She's 6.
How do neither one of you like the 7?
I don't dislike the 7. I don't want the 7 and 5 to 2 in the race.
Yeah.
I mean, a horse that sat back in 6 the whole way around, kicked in 26 and 2, but didn't pass one horse.
She was in with 0 tolerance.
Huh?
She was in with 0 tolerance. Who?
I don't care. He didn't pass anybody else.
I have 0 tolerance for that horse.
I mean, show me you can pass a horse.
We'll see. You'll see her pass quite a few right here. 10 seconds to post.
I think the value is on the 1.
I'm at 30 seconds.
Oh, you better refresh.
Yeah, it's 1. They're going.
Oh, well, I can't bet this race then.
Yeah, why not? Why wait till the last second? I didn't bet the race, but I think that the 1 is some value underneath.
I thought about playing a 2-5 exacta. And it's going to take me a while to refresh for some reason because I think my broadband's being eaten up by the summer heat. Do 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 do.
Did it refresh or no?
I'm still waiting. Do 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 do.
Oh well, if I could pull the program up as they were going here.
Do 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 do.
This is much better than a race call that's 30 seconds behind.
Prairie Meadows. I don't want Prairie Meadows. Although Eurobond's racing there. Okay. Here we go. So they're passing the quarter. Izzy Hanover is moving up to take the lead from Sweet Lucy Lou. And Key West third, 28-1 the opening quarter. Tall Drink Hanover sits fourth in front of a Beach Cowgirl fifth. Shalo is sixth. Joyce's Choice is seventh. And Ever After trails. On down the backstretch, passing 3/8. Odds-on favorite Izzy Hanover in front of Sweet Lucy Lou by a length and 3/4. Sitting third, then Key West from Tall Drink Hanover fourth. Beach Cowgirl remains fifth, beginning to move to the outside as Joyce's Choices from the back initiates her bid overland, looking for cover, while Ever After gaps through a 57 3/2. 29-2 that second quarter, moving into the far turn. Izzy Hanover, a length and a half in front. Sweet Lucy Lou still sits the pocket. First up from fifth, a Beach Cowgirl now ranging up to challenge the leader on their way to 3/4. Shuffled back to the inside, Key West, as is Tall Drink Hanover, while Joyce's Choices gaps covers second over. Shalo enters the flow, now to be third over. Ever After then about 5 lengths off this field as they come on to 3/4. Izzy Hanover passes that station, 126-1. A Beach Cowgirl to the outside, now a half length away, while Sweet Lucy Lou chases to the inside third as they're into the lane. Izzy Hanover to the inside, outside a Beach Cowgirl trying to get by. She's hanging a touch, now a length away off the rail. Key West rallying late with Tall Drink Hanover. The line's coming. Izzy Hanover's holding sway. Key West again ranging up, but Izzy Hanover at the line. My feed froze right before the line.
You got there.
Hold on! From Key West. That was tight for third and 153-2.
The 3 was pretty good in the race, I thought.
So what did that what that end up finishing there?
2-4.
2-4-7. It was just the chalk and the 2 Alanyas. So if you want to, fairly typical for most 2-year-old races at that place.
How good was the 7?
Not that good,
Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned.
Horse was locked in the whole way. I like the 3 better.
Well, what do you want a fast closing third? How good was she at 5-2 in the race?
How good was
Never
she?
beat the 2
Look
with
at the
a
last
4.
half.
Huh?
Look at the last half.
Okay, but she didn't win.
55 and
She
4
didn't
on
make
the
any
board.
impression on the top 2. So how good was she, Rod? She was a fast closing third at 2-1.
You're missing the whole point. That's a
Well,
55 and 4
if you
last
bet the
half.
race,
on the
no,
clock.
what's the point of
What is
if you
55
bet the
and 4
race and the horse is 5-2 and you're a fast closing third? How good was she? Tell me. Help me understand that.
Look at the clock.
I don't care.
That's what I'm saying. That's how good the horse was.
I'm just waiting this one out.
But as far as this race goes, she was just okay.
No, she was good. It wasn't good for the betters.
She would have been pulling in where the 3 was or behind the 3. She didn't. She sat the entire way around and finished up. They weren't trying that hard. That's
She
what I'm
needed
getting
it,
from that line.
obviously.
It's not like that she ground it out first over and just got beat. She sat until the 8th pole and then kicked out and finished up. She wasn't that good. She certainly wasn't that impressive, if you ask me.
You come up last half in like 53 and 4. Yeah, beat 2.5 lengths, maybe.
Exactly. So how good was she? Beat 2.5 lengths, sitting the whole way and finishing the last 8th.
Why do we care?
Well, no, I mean, if you're going to say that, I mean, at least be like halfway right.
I am.
Okay.
Why did
You're trying to tell me that a 53 and change back half is not good. It's very good. It's the first time for a 2-year-old. That's huge.
Okay, but she was still third. Was she better than the 3 in the race?
I'm
Tell me
not
that.
arguing where she finished. If
Was
the
she
horse
better than the 3? When you're watching this race, would you rather bet the 7 back or the 3?
7.
I wouldn't.
Why do I have VHS tapes? What am I supposed to do with those? That's like if I find
The 3 finished 4th.
if I find a fossil, what do I do? What do I do with a fossil?
Why do you have a fossil?
Because I have all these VHS tapes in my basement. I have these
Maybe
mops.
what's funny.
What the? No, that's not how it works. There are only some things that increase in value with age, like wine and children. But well, not necessarily. Some of them don't pay off. But if you ask the Jacksons, but these VHS tapes, oh, they're kind of worthless. I think they're empty. Here's one, Walt Disney World. What? I don't want to support them. I hate Disney. These are the things I care about, not 51 and 4 back halves, because I'm not a clock. Smile into the camera.
Well, if you care, Pen Pal opened up 9-5.
4 to 5.
4-5 now.
Wow.
Second
I
choice.
kind of care. I mean, is that surprising? I don't know. How much in the win pool? That's what I want to know.
A little bit. I didn't expect her to
$100.
I didn't expect her to open that short.
$5,600,000,000,000,000,000,000 are in the pool right now.
2,100 in the win pool. Half of it on her.
Boy, I wish I had $2,100. I'd be a millionaire. I'd do so many things with $2,100. I'd buy breakfast at my favorite diner. and I'd buy that diner because they cost what, $10? Diners don't cost a lot of money, do they? I could buy one, and I could run it with my Greek family, Christina Karamiklios, and our son Chad. What a dream! What a life to live.
Are we doing anything productive?
I'm establishing goals, which, if you ask me, is the most productive thing you could do as a young adolescent man.
I mean, I don't know what sort of gibberish you're bringing.
What do you mean?
I realized that we kind of lost track of something there. I got a little upset, but
Well, I mean, you guys talked about what you cared about for about 10 minutes, so I was going to talk about what I cared about.
oh, you mean horses? Oh, yeah. Thanks.
There's nothing wrong with making dreams. I don't know why I want to run a diner. I look like I could run a diner, or I look like the spokesperson for a diner. Either that, or the man who has been arrested for assaulting those inflatable tube men that fly around at the used car dealerships.
Those are wacky, inflatable, flailing arm tube men.
No, because that was one sketch on Family Guy, and Family Guy is not funny.
That's what they're called.
It's
No.
not funny.
It's not funny.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's just, it's a ripoff of The Simpsons in a way.
I'm sure that what's his name?
It's only
Seth
been on
MacFarlane is laughing all the way to the bank,
Well, yeah, that.
regardless of what you think.
Well, exactly. That's how show business works. You don't have to be good to be successful. Look where I'm at right now. But we move on in the show, because round and round we go to some steaks action. Some T-bone steaks action, medium rare, well done concepts for races. Tomorrow evening at the Meadowlands. Starting with the Graduate Trot. $250,000. I'm getting quieter. Oh no, there goes my voice. It's gone. Goodbye. And it's back. So the Graduate Trot, it's a time-honored tradition, mostly because it's held every year, and this one is on Saturday, June 7th, 2018. If I've not established that already, I am a man who adores the calendar. I believe that it is the most useful tool next to the hammer, but they're neck and neck. Followed by the buzzsaw in a close third. And this race has 10 of the finest 4-year-old trotters in racing, in competition, including Dunbar Hall, who won a cup. Did he win a graduate leg? He did win a graduate leg
He
over
did.
at Woodbine.
Thankfully,
Moonshiner Hanover.
pile of money.
Thankfully. Why are you thankful? Why are you thankful for him winning that? Do you have him?
Because
Oh, that's
he finished
right.
up a giant pick 4 for me that night.
That's right. I forgot about that. That was when
I
Ariana G
didn't.
lost. I know you didn't. You were laughing all the way to the bank on that one. Did you meet Seth MacFarlane while you were there? Ariana G's also in this race. And she's off of 2 straight losses. Is she okay? Does she need help?
You need something.
Do we
Well,
need...
she's going up against the boys now. I mean,
She did that last year, though.
yeah, but these are
They weren't that
more
good.
mature.
I don't think she's been very good, period. I don't care who she's been racing against. I mean,
I feel like she's very comparable to that girl that peaks in high school. You know what I'm talking about?
I wish I owned her, but
I wouldn't want
She's going to
to.
be short again.
I wouldn't want to own a girl who peaked in high school. I'd want to own like a girl who became a CEO, and by that I mean I want her to be my daughter, because then like I could have money when I retire. What a good life that would be in my diner. Forget Chad. Her name will be Christina. Sorry, I'm dreaming again. But she's in here. She's 3-1 on the morning line. I don't think she goes off the favorite though. This seems
Who
like,
does?
Who does? I feel like Dunbar's more deserving.
Off the break, though?
What's a break? What's a break other than a standard bred wanting to be a thoroughbred?
And this horse was 8-1, 9-1 the last 2 races before that.
That was
and you
back
think this
when-
horse was going to be the favorite? This horse wasn't even a favorite at the preferred at Woodbine.
8-1, 9-1 would make him second choice to Ariana G in those races. Would it not, Mike?
No, he wasn't, though. There were other horses bet in those races.
Well, okay, then who is it then? They're not going to make Moonshiner Hanover the favorite.
It's possible.
Nope.
Ariana G is going to be the favorite.
Okay.
just because
I think she's
of name recognition. I think for starters, I think that there are question marks with a lot of the other horses in the race, so people will default to what they know, and that's her.
I'll tell you guys who I feel should win the race.
Probably the horse I like.
Okay, we're gonna say it on the count of 3. All right. 1.
No, go ahead. I know who you like. Go ahead.
No, Mike, I'm trying to make this fun.
It's not.
Why not?
It's not.
You make the worst youth pastor.
Don't I though?
International Money should win this race.
That's who I like too.
Then we could have had a moment. What's wrong with you?
Funny thing, we're all on international money here.
Yeah, I mean that's
I have some Canadian dollars in my underwear drawer. If that means anything.
I just took mine to the bank and pretended they were American, so I got the same amount.
That sounds illegal. If you or a loved one have been scammed by Rod Allums Jr., who can blame you? That mile last out against Hannelore is not necessarily a toss, but it's just like we get it. We get why you were 4th, and that makes you better than most of this field.
But let's look at it. I mean, okay, so 10-hole at Woodbine in the Graduate, where he was running over things and had to break and go the safety lane because he refused to pull.
Mm-hmm.
Pitched that race, was totally against it at Tioga, which was dominated by front enders that day. And then the prep last time where he was wide the entire way around against Hannelore. So those last 3 races are total tosses. And then if you look at the race on May 19th, he got beat an inch to a horse that was, winning 3 in a row at the time. And there's so many question marks on the other horses. How can you not use him? He's going to be closer. He's got to be better than he was last time.
If I were the betting public, I'd make this horse the favorite, which means if he's not the favorite, then that he's the bet. Like that's betting 101 in my book. Now we can move on to betting 102, which is, what do we do with that then, other than just bet him? Is there anything else? I was looking at one horse in this race, and it wasn't the 1 horse. It was the 9 horse. Top Flight Angel looks kind of interesting to me. If you toss that race over at Harris Philly, where they were sitting right behind a really fast pace, the horse still pulled, and then Bill's Man. I mean, you could say Bill's Man is also worth a shot here off of that mile because I
like him a little better than the 9.
I feel like the 9, though, is still usable and can hit the ticket. Like if you want a big bombs away bluey kabooey trifecta.
I don't hate the Woodbine line, but that race set up for him there. And then the Tioga line was on the front and couldn't finish. I don't like that. And then 8-hole Philly last time. Okay. You could talk me into anything in here. I don't hate him.
Top Flight's always been a horse that's better at chasing. I remember in particular when he won the Yonkers Trot, and he had the 9-hole from the 2nd tier, and he grinded ground by horses to win. That's kind of his MO. And what other letters and perhaps other states than Missouri he's affectionate to? I don't know, but if you want a big kablooey zooey trifecta, and I'd probably play this too. Dollar Key, international money over Bill's Man and Top Flight. That would pay.
I would include the 2 and the 3 somewhere in there.
I'm not that rich.
Include the 6 on your tickets.
Don Dream. I remember this horse. Don Dream. Wasn't this? Oh God, who trained this horse originally?
This horse beat huge.
It wasn't Booten Shane.
2 back.
Oh, never mind. Yeah, that last race, Silver Mass Volo Pocono.
And he likes a big track. He's a closer.
Why do you think he likes a big track?
He broke on
One,
it.
he's a closer.
Where do you see that? Because I see a lot of wins at Delaware and Pocono.
That's mostly where he's raced, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't have a lot of starts on the big track. So I think.
Well, how you know he likes it then?
He was going by everybody in the Graduate when he broke. And it looked like a speed break.
But does that?
I think he's going to get a nice trip in this race. And I'm not saying the horse can win. I'm saying he can hit the ticket. And He's going to be a giant price, probably
Giant
30,
price.
40.
It'll be 100 to 1 easy.
No,
100 to 1, 10,000
Not-
to 1.
not in this race. There's
Not
two.
in this race. And another race.
It's a wide open betting race, in my opinion.
That's why
And
Ariana.
What do you think he is?
5 to 1.
50?
I say he's probably like 30, 40 to 1.
Semantics.
But
Semantics is right.
regardless,
I
I mean,
exaggerate occasionally. Some people know that about me.
Yeah, Rod never
I think
exaggerates.
get the ticket, and he's going to be at a big price. Why not use him in your exotics?
I'll tell you why, Rod. Because I only have so many dollars in my wallet because I have to feed 13 of my 15
Ray's
children.
trying to cold deck triples.
Did I not say 13 of my 15 children? I don't have enough to feed the other two because that's where the other $2 goes. A little dark, but when the sun goes down, what do you expect? It's not going to be bright. It's not going to be light.
So
Unless-
0
Well-
minutes to 8 at Meadowlands to start pick 4. If
I'm at the
anyone
whole
is
parade right
interested.
now.
I preferred how Mike was saying it because he left out all the prepositions and it sounded funny.
I do, while we got a minute here, do a few shout outs. Cheyenne, who used to work for me in Chicago, he's watching. Scott Mance, Sam Pisano, Tracy, Terry Cullifer, Raymond Lance
Nice.
watching, putting in a ticket.
He should be taking our pictures.
He
He will be if he ever wants to come see us again.
He'll be at Hambo, I imagine. Charles sent me a DM.
Me too.
Hey, Mike's going crazy. Shut him up.
No, I hope he didn't say me too. He said, Ray, the FCC will kick you off the air for saying you have international money in your underwear drawer. That's explicit rhetoric. Which I guess it makes me sound like a really exotic gigolo. If you take it that far.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to confuse you there.
No. You're in the clear there, buddy.
I mean, but, you know, that's good to have dreams. You were talking about that earlier.
This will be my last show
Oh, for God. Here we go again.
as I
Boo for you all the time.
I go to work on my libido. I hated that sentence so badly. I'm going to read off our pick fours to remind people what we have. Rod, put the
I just
graphics up.
punched mine.
Did you play it? I don't get why you
Yeah, I
punched
just played it. Yeah, I played
Well,
it.
no, I know you're a man that has a
played
lot of
mine earlier.
anger in you, but then the punching helps. But playing it, okay. So here's my ticket for 50 cents. I'm 1489 with 247 with 59 with 48. That's $24.
They're on the feed right now.
I know, but there's also radio, Rodney. Mike is, I don't know why I yelled, but it's therapeutic. Mike for 50 cents is 1479 with 247 with 13578 with 48, and that's $60. And then Rod is 1478910 with 247 with 159 with 48, and that's $54 for 50 cents. Those tickets are on Facebook, North American Harness Update, and on Twitter at NA Harness Update, as well as if you're watching the video right now, over
In the
top
pool.
my beautiful face. That was not aggressive in any way. You know, water is a very
My ticket on for Mohawks pick 4, late pick 4.
water's a very underrated substance, if you ask me. Like everyone goes for booze and other contraband that I think if I say it will get me arrested. But you know, I think water should be number one because like you need it to live, and it feels so good when you're exerting so much effort so effortlessly that when you need to replenish your soul, 70% of it to be exact, all you gotta do, take a little swig. Of course, if you ask like Charles Bukowski, you could do that with a bottle of gin, but I'm not Bukowski. I'm no barfly. Barfly don't bother me. This 8th race is coming up. Looking at the board, I should probably look at the board if I want to talk about the board. 2-1 favorite, the one pen pal. Storm Tracker's 2-1 too. Ugh. That's disgusting. 2-1 on Storm Tracker. And 9-2 on the 9, Rockin' Praline, and 7-1 on Cracklin' Rosie. Did any of us talk about this horse? She's 7-1.
That's an old Woodbine horse.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan.
I
That horse was low morning line. That's Jangro Osceola. It's Osceola.
Oh, this is the Yonker shipper. This horse is a dud.
She actually prefers the bigger track and could be dangerous. I'm a little upset I left her off.
I don't like those lines at Pocono, though. Like, I get liking the bigger track, but those were such nothing races.
Pocono lines are terrible. That last Yonkers line is not.
I agree. But still 7-1.
But she's 1 for 24. She's never really liked to win all that much.
Beyonce's Rockin's 11-1. Springforth is 39-1. Those have my eyes. I like Springforth at 41.
7 and 9 are being bet pretty hard. Harder than I expected.
I really don't like the 7. Actually, I don't want to say things that would actually make me lose money. But if I had the confidence to place the bet, I would take bets that she would lose.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not. I'm a man who can only act like he has confidence. When you see me after the show, I am in fact in a constant fetal position.
Well, don't we all have the 4? That'd be a good start here.
I think the 8 would be a fantastic start too.
Well, yeah, that'd be great for you. I'd root for you very much if that horse would win.
I just put some money to win on that horse.
Well, yeah, 40-1 if you like, go.
Yeah. I agree with that. But then again, Beyonce's Rockin's also not a bad price at 11. But
I don't mind that.
Especially
getting Dave Miller there. Inside post. Should get a trip. 11-1. You could do a lot worse. Especially with the inconsistency with the horses that are bet. You have the 1, the 7, and the 9. Any one of them could show up and win, and all 3 of them could be flat. So.
Well, if they're flat, that means they could be involved. None of them really show breaking issues.
No, I'm not saying flat as not race well.
I get that. I was just doing a little word play.
Just being a creep. Thanks.
A creep? I don't like when people reference Radiohead on my shows. Radiohead's very overrated, if you ask me. And I know you didn't, but that's why I said if you did ask. I know you never would.
What's your feed showing to where we can get you on the correct timeline?
48 seconds.
Good. You're right on time.
All right, fantastic. 2-1. Storm Tracker's the favorite. Why
Stan Frazano is going 7-9-4 here.
Why does everyone like Storm Tracker? I despise this horse.
Nothing wrong with the horse.
There's everything wrong. She's a loser, and I don't like her for that.
Why don't you like her?
I told you why.
Well, I know she has bad days. I get that.
Well, the other thing, too, she only won by a nose against this group in a 6-horse field. Like, she's not that big a standout. I think she's really beatable.
Well, okay. I don't disagree with you that she's a little low on the board.
Yeah, she's definitely beatable, for sure.
It's a tough race. I don't really have much confidence in anything. I'm just hoping to get through. I'd rather, get alive to the last.
I prefer.
It looks like they're trying to get to 90 grand again in this pick 4 pool.
It's going up quickly. 75,000 currently as we look at Rockin' Praline. Bum, 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 bum. Every horse has a theme song when they're post parading.
Which reminds me, did you guys watch her race last week?
Who, Rockin' Praline?
Yes.
Didn't we all? Weren't we on the air?
No, it was before we went on, I think.
Oh, then probably
not.
Rod?
Oh, she made 3 moves. She left, let a horse go, Rockin' Praline. She left, let a horse go, removed again, and then got run at her on the last turn and still drew away from him.
Removed again? Yeah? Removed again? We'll be calling up Webster's to see if we've committed any atrocities this evening. This 8th race is going to gate.
Are we going to break after this then?
Yes.
2-1
well,
favorite.
As soon as you're done, then just go.
That was the plan. 2-1 favorite, the 7 Storm Tracker I've been hosting for 5 years now. Second choice at 5-2, the 1 Pen Pal. Third choice at 3-1, the 9 Rockin' Praline. This field is in motion and approaching the start. And just like that, they're off. And pacing, Storm Tracker leaves well from the outside, as does Rockin' Praline, with Beyonce's Rockin' towards the center, moving up to the rail, and Cracklin' Rosie alongside, making it 4 high around that first turn. Cracklin' Rosie overtakes Beyonce's Rockin' to take a narrow lead, while Storm Tracker moves up in between horses. Rockin' Praline's widest of all, now up to be second, moving to the opening quarter, brushing by the favorite Storm Tracker to now move to the front. Shuffled back to fourth, then Beyonce's Rockin' in front of Spring Fourth, who got away fifth. Pen Pal's back sixth, then followed by Give Me Your Heart seventh. Eighth away, then Spin Pressive in front of Clara Bia, and last of all's Perplexed. 26-4 opening quarter. Here comes back to the outside Storm Tracker again to take the front. Rockin' Praline shown the whip to stay involved here, stay engaged, gonna sit that pocket tightly. Third, then still Cracklin' Rosie to the half-mile station. First up, Beyonce's Rockin' through a quick half, 55 seconds, 28-1 that second quarter. Spring Fourth's on cover, second over, moving to the far turn, to the inside, moving up comes Spin Pressive to the inside of Pen Pal, who is third over. Fourth over's Give Me Your Heart to the inside. Clara Bia remains second to last, and Perplexed still trails about 6.5 lengths off the lead of Storm Tracker to 3/4. Beyonce's Rockin's inching closer and closer. Inside, Rockin' Praline needs room. Second up comes Spring Fourth in 1:23, 28 seconds that third panel. Turning into the stretch, it's Storm Tracker to catch. She leads by a length and a half. Rockin' Praline looking for room to the inside. Outside, Beyonce's Rockin'. Deeper on the track, Spring Fourth, and here comes Pen Pal unwinding down the center for LaChance. Pen Pal is surging to the lead while Rockin' Praline battles on towards the rail. In between horses comes Beyonce's Rockin', Praline, and Pen Pal. They come to the line. It's Pen Pal getting a nose ahead in front of Rockin' Praline second. Looked like Beyonce's Rockin' held third in 1:51 and 1. And just like that, we all move on in the pick four.
She was winning the whole way.
To the next leg we go. And not only to the next leg we go, to break we go when we come back with more North American Harness Update here on SRN1 and on this wonderful invention we call the internet, which at the same time will destroy us all, with a second hour of North American Harness Update coming up after this.
Come around telling me secrets.
Philip Hong at Woodbridge. 6 children hospitalized over an ammonia leak in Keswick have been released. This comes after authorities responded to a call at the Georgina Ice Palace on Thursday morning, evacuated after reports of a strong odor inside the building. Emergency services found the leak, adding there is no impact in surrounding homes. The Georgina Ice Palace and Keswick branch of the Georgina Public Library is closed until further notice. Former Ontario PC leader Patrick Brown wants to head Peel Region Council. Brown, who stepped aside from his provincial position after allegations were made against him, has confirmed his run for chair of Peel Region. Brown says he's excited about the nonpartisan nature of municipal politics. A park is being named after newsreader Lloyd Robertson. The city of Markham will dedicate a park around 16th Avenue and 9th Line, naming it Lloyd Robertson Park. Robertson, a Markham resident, was the longtime anchor of CTV National News until 2011 and was host of CBC's The National before that position. Sunny and 25 in the forecast. I'll have more updates on SRN1, 20th anniversary SRN1. For now, I'm Philip Hong.
Thank you, Phil, and welcome back to more of The Gong Show. I am Mike Myers, joined here by Mike Pribozie and Rod Allums Jr. If you joined us for the first hour, you know what happened, but if you didn't, here's a rundown, except it's not going to be a run. It's going to be more of a leisurely jog, if you ask me. So in the first hour, we talked a bit about the graduate final for the 4-year-old trotters, and we all agreed International Money should, in theory, win that race. He appears to be the best horse on paper and could offer the best price, and we all also advanced in the pick 4 at the Meadowlands, the $50,000 guaranteed pick 4, which exceeded that tremendously. I think the pool got up to around $80,000, if I'm not mistaken.
It was over 75. It's just when they were going.
Right, turn your down.
Turn my what down?
Turn your volume down. You do this every single week.
You see, well,
Now we're good.
Here's what you don't get. I'm loud.
He is loud.
That's all there really is to it.
He is loud.
And so we all move on in the second leg to the second leg of this pick 4 at the Meadowlands, where Tactical Landing is the favorite at 4-5, and then the second choice at 3-1. Would you say told me? What?
I knew he was gonna be the favorite.
Well, what good does that do you? If he wins, he only pays like $380. Oh,
He's
even
not
money.
the favorite
You
to
get
pick 4.
$4 now for that one. Whew.
He's not the favorite to pick 4.
They usually put it up, so let's look. We don't have to speculate.
And then the second choice at 5-2 now is the 7 Southwind Chrome. Third choice at 4-1's the 2 Classic Cap. That race will be stepping onto the track momentarily. We have the option to stick with this race, or we could talk a bit. I think about the first elimination of the Meadowlands Pace.
Talk a little.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd rather do that because
Not a commercial on Meadowlands feed.
yeah,
currently.
I just saw that and I had to turn it off. I don't like looking at myself. So the first elimination.
We don't like looking at you either.
Well, thank you. That's why I'm the front piece.
I think that's one of the best things you've ever done, personally. But
yeah, I don't like thinking that way because then I don't grow. This elimination for the Meadowlands Pace is the first one of 2, $50,000. I think a total of 15 horses, and dropped into the box for the Meadowlands Pace. And in this first elimination, we got Hayden Hanover. He was 3rd in the North American Cup elimination, 9th in the final. He's coming off a second-place finish to American history in a really speedy mile of 147. Albeit it was only 87 degrees. I thought it was 97 degrees that night. It was a scorcher. I'm not just talking about the mile. Stay Hungry is the second choice here at 5-2, and well, he's not. I think he's the morning line favorite at 5-2, and he's coming off a 4th place finish in the Hemped and Nutcracker Sweet, you guys already know how I feel. This horse should have won the Hemped final, and I feel is one of the best pacers in this division right now. He's 7-2 on the morning line, and I feel like I can't really stray from him in this race, unless you think Big Dream Big's really gonna pop all of a sudden.
nah, I think it's the 5 and the 6. I like the 5. I do agree that probably should have won the Hemp. Just missed and was 30-1.
I bet him.
Did get a decent trip, shuffled and then, flew home. The big track can't hurt him at all. That his best race, if you watch that North America Cup elimination, that was by far his best race, where he was first up pretty much the entire mile and got beat a neck to a horse that tripped out for Burke. And then no chance in the final, was out the whole way again. lost the lather up in the elimination of the Hemp, and then we talked about I feel like that he should probably be the favorite. Stay Hungry really had no excuse, was in a perfect spot in that Hemp final and couldn't finish it. But the big track suits him better, and I think that that's the only thing that could maybe, shuffle those two. But I think it's those two. I don't want anything. I don't care that horse went 47. That's, that was a goofy night to begin with. I feel like a bounce is looming very large for that horse.
I agree fully, because that was during the heat wave, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and that track was crazy. I mean, whatever.
Rod?
The horse I like a little bit. Maybe not to win the race, but I think he's going to be close, is the 3. This Is the Plan. He made the break in the Hemp final. He just didn't look comfortable the whole race to me. He ducked him. He was on the outside and, just kind of was going along. And he just looked like he was irritated from the word go. Obviously he did not want to be ducked. And he's one of those horses that just likes to go all the time. And I think this is one of those races where there's not a ton of early speed, and he could get a trip up close, maybe on the front of the 2-hole. And if he does, I think he's going to stay close because, short field, and he's been pretty good other than, when he got yanked back to last in the Hemp final. So I think, he's going to be more comfortable up toward the front of the pace, and he's one to play in exotics, and he's got a little shot to win, I think.
Well, if you're talking exotics, then I know he's coming in off of that Freaky Mile, but Captain Deo seems like he can make this final easily and hit the board.
My problem in this race, I don't like any 1 or 2 horses in particular to win the race. So I'm going to look, kind of watch the board and see where the value's at, and kind of go off
I don't think that there's anybody that can win but the 5 and the 6, if you ask me. I don't think the 3 has a snowball's chance to win the race, unless the 2 is some sort of, doubles up on that last race. I don't think that horse can win the race. I don't mind the 4's Meadowlands races. I think he prefers this racetrack, but he's won 30,000. I mean, that's, he needs to prove himself.
He's a lightly raced horse.
Even still, I mean, he's cheap.
Nutcracker Sweet, he's a nice horse, but he's also a trip horse.
This is the easiest field, though, he's seen in a long time, Rod. There's no Lather Up, no Springsteen, no Westelite, even no Burning Midnight, for God's sakes.
Plus, I don't really – well, Burning Midnight I feel like is the outlier in that entire list.
I know, but I'm saying he would be he's better than most of these horses.
But the other thing, too, is I wouldn't necessarily say he's a trip horse. Because even though he lost that North America Cup, there are so many other horses that would have folded way worse than he did in that race. If this horse doesn't, this horse can get no semblance of a trip and probably still win, I'd imagine.
I like him too. I agree with you.
I feel like if Stay Hungry is the favorite, he's a great bet.
That's how I like him. He needs a trip.
Oh, there's a difference between how you like him and how the horse races.
Yeah, it's a short field, but that's why I also like the 3. I think he's going to get a trip here, and he's going to be close. And it's second-time Lasix, which you guys know is a big angle line.
But can he beat do you think he ends up in the pocket in the race? Can he beat the 2 to the front?
3?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I mean, if you think that, then he's probably on the front. Because the 5 and the 6 aren't going to go. I mean, that's just not their MO, really.
I agree.
So the 3's on the front, if you ask me.
If the 3's on the front, the 2's probably going to remove anyways.
Okay. Well, there you go. So that's the way they're going to line up, and then they're going to launch from the back. I mean, that's just how I think.
What makes you think Nutcracker's not going to leave? That horse has a lot.
Either way, like Ray says, this horse can take a ton of air, and, as soon as he pulls, he's going to be out there. My only question is, with Stay Hungry on his back, is he going to be able to hold him off?
Which that's a valid question, and that's also Stay Hungry's best trip is racing second over.
Right.
He's proven that time.
And that's where he's going to be. I mean,
it's possible without doubt. I don't really know. If I'm looking at the board, I feel that at the end, Nutcracker Sweet's the better horse, and if he's not the favorite, then that's the play. That's as much as I
don't know if he's the better horse, but right now I think he's better than the 6 is. Like right now.
But that's all that matters.
I don't know about.
That's
you
all.
know,
Right, meow.
So
All that matters is right now. I'm not trying to predict which horse is going to be better August of
oh,
2020.
but you know what I'm saying. I feel like the 6 has a ton of back class in the race. I mean, the 6 has made $650,000. You know, was an excellent 2 and is a decent 3. But I just feel like maybe the 5 is a little better this week. Maybe not better horse overall, but
Well, there's one thing to be a really good 2-year-old and still be a good 3-year-old, but with Stay Hungry, it seems like he's kind of stalled in his development. He hasn't really turned that 2-year-old form into good 3-year-old form. He's still kind of
but
just
he's
that
run into some toughies. I mean, he ran the lather up in the NA Cup final, then in the Hemp. I mean, that he got the 8-hole in the elimination. Just wanted to make the final. I personally thought he should have won last time. He was in a perfect spot and just didn't finish.
Which at the end of the day, this conversation really doesn't matter when Nutcracker Sweet pays $9 and I have 20 to win on him.
Oh, you're not going to get that. He's 2 to 1.
Oh, no way.
Wait, you say
You
he's
think he pays $9? You run to the freaking window.
You say he's 3
Yeah,
to 1.
If he pays 5 to 2, I'd be surprised.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's low.
I don't really. But when you're talking like the difference between 7 to 2 and 5 to 2, it start like that starts to really wane on.
Well, there's a lot of times where you look at the board and you'll say, you know, that you wanted to click higher. I mean, it makes a difference.
Well, it's different because I actually really like Nutcracker Sweet.
So you would be willing to take 2 to 1?
I think so.
Okay. I mean, I'm good with it too. I feel like that he's the most obvious.
Meanwhile, 16 seconds to post here for the 9th race at the Meadowlands. They're going to gate. Down to be the 6 to 5 favorite, the 7. Southwind Chrome. Tactical Landing is 2 to 1. He's the second choice. Classic Hap at 3 to 1. It's the third choice. Everyone outside of that is another choice. Some of them might be your choice. This is 9th race. Gets in line, in motion, and approaches the start. Bizarre, off stride before the start. Callahan trying to get him back on gate, but he's refusing. The rest are away. Southwind Chrome leaves out from the outside with Classic Cap to the inside, leaving 2. Tactical Landing from in between also moves out for a spot to the first turn. He's going to float away 3rd in front of Quantum Kemp 4th, while Lynn's Little Justin trots into 5th. 6th away as they move on to the opening quarter. Pandora's Box in front of Boxing Glove 7th. Broadway Bruiser gets away 8th, and it's a long way back to Bizarre, who broke behind the gate. He trails the field, while Classic Hap leads them through a 28-second opening quarter. Southwind Chrome, the odds-on favorite, is going to sit pocket to the backside with Tactical Landy stalking them from 3rd. Quantum Kemp's gapped out 2.5 to sit 4th. Lynn's Little Justin, longest shot on the board, trots 5th, then about 5 lengths off the lead, held by Classic Hap as Smedshammer shows him the whip to the half-mile station. They're past 3/8, and here comes Tactor out of 3rd with Tactical Landing. The trio of favorites are engaging to the half-mile station. Classic Hap a length in front. Tactical Landing, he's a little steppy, but he's still in contention through a 55-4 half, 27-4 that second quarter. Southwind Chrome sits 3rd to the far turn, then Quantum Kemp stalks them 4th. A gap of 6.5 lengths develops from Lynn's Little Justin being circumvented by Pandora's Box on her back. Broadway Bruiser tips wide, then Boxing Gloves, but they're all out of contention as Classic Hap trots the 3/4. He has the advantage on Tactical Landing now showing the whip. Southwind Chrome, though, yet to be given room. He stalks them from 3rd to the inside through 3/4 in 1:23-2. Tactical Landing retreating here as Classic Hap extends his lead to 2. Southwind Chrome to the inside, now overtakes 2nd. Tactical Landing's chasing 3rd. Then it's a gap of 7.5 lengths to Quantum Kemp 4th. Southwind Chrome looking for room. Tactical Landing coming back, and Classic Hap trying to hold on as the line looms. Classic Hap and Tactical Landing. Classic Hap holds on by a neck from Tactical Landing. Southwind Chrome never got room, but he still was up for 3rd. 1:51-1.
You believe me now?
That's a fast race. How about the 4 in the race? God.
Do you believe me now?
It's less believe you, more believe Tactor.
You guys didn't believe what I was saying.
You were just regurgitating what Tactor said.
He's kind of a goofy gated thing too, though, you know.
Yeah. That was a good
Boy,
race.
Tron's like he couldn't believe it. He's like, "Is this horse is still coming?"
Oh, that makes me sick. Oh man.
Why?
I feel like Classic App's the
That's
better
actually
horse to
better
have.
for the pick 4, I think.
Yeah.
Because I had a $20 4-2.
That would make me sick. No box.
Yeah.
Nope.
Mr. Rag on Ray for not boxing. Now you're Mr. Not Boxing.
Ooh, that's Bruto. Oh, well. Good try.
If anyone but Tactor drove that horse, it looked like he'd be running the entire way.
That's why he's driving. Funky gated, extremely fast.
Yeah, I agree. Fast.
Still-
The 2 was no slouch there, though. That was a good race for him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it's harder to be a good horse. Actually, no, that's not true because horses race fastest when they're alone. So never mind.
I mean, that's the horse's first win. That was his maiden win. He went 51 and something. What? 51 and 2?
51. What was it?
51.
51 and
Imagine
1.
breaking your maiden and going 51.
I'd imagine it'd be the equivalent of breaking your maiden and going 54. You still broke your maiden.
Wow, but I mean, I'm sure the plans have changed all of a sudden.
Oh, no. Plans didn't change. This horse is still going to the handball.
Yeah. And not only that, the Meadowlands is a fast track to begin with.
It's a good looking horse.
Reynolds.
He looks like most other horses I've seen. I was gonna reference Jim Gaffigan, but everyone got really triggered by that. That was okay. $66,000 Reynolds Trot. I wrote about this race over on the Hambletonian Trail at twinspires.com.
What race are we doing?
The Reynolds. It's the 7th race. It follows the race that Nutcracker Suite is going to annihilate. And this is a 12-horse field going postward with what a knockout. I feel like she's the horse to beat. You guys were on this one last week, rightfully. I wasn't.
I feel like she's the horse to beat from out there.
I think she's still I think she's the best horse here.
She might be, but the problem is that she has the 10 hole now. She's not going to get an easy lead. I don't know. I'm a little concerned.
What's interesting to me is how the pace could potentially set up here because first things first, any horse you can guarantee goes to the front, but he has 3 horses in here, I think. He has Natalie, Fury, he has 4 horses in here. And I think 3 of them race on the lead. And I doubt they're going to battle with each other. I don't know if there's a fast race. Because if it's really fast going out early, that really does not work well for the 10. Because she seems like race on the front and that's it. However, I feel Repentance is probably the value of this race. She's been racing very well as of late. Coming off a win over at Tioga pretty handily in 55 and change over that wet track as the favorite. And from the outside, she can get carried into the mix very easily. I feel like she can take the air.
She looks good, but she's not going to be 6-1. I mean, she's going to be bet because, like what you said, there's a lot of speed in the race. I think the 2 needs to be looked at for sure. For Tactor, draws inside, gets Yannick, really nice qualifier, came home 27. Draws perfect. Those stakes races are very good. The horse made $240,000 last year. Probably should get a decent setup behind the 3 who's going to get the front.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's where he's sitting. This horse has been on the lead the last 3 times quite easily at half mile and 5/8 mile tracks. From this post, he's going to go again. This horse won from the 10 hole at Vernon in the console. So very sharp. I like the 3 best. I like the 2 second best. And then the 9, like you said, with getting the setup. My concern with the 10 is the previous braking issues. The 10 hole, last time, she got it all her own way. She was fast. She was by herself. If you remember that race, She wasn't challenged till late. That's not going to be the case here.
The 10 at Vernon is the 2nd tier.
That's okay. Still came from off of it.
Well, no, I know. But I just didn't know if you thought that was the outside.
Still got away 7th out of 9 and had to pass, a bunch of horses there. I don't mind that race at all. Actually, I think it's a positive that the horse won from the 2nd tier.
And I mean, it could be comparable class-wise. Cause I remember looking at that field, like that collection of fillies. There are a bunch of really well-bred fillies. Like Mushka Stride is out of Check Me Out, but the rest of them, most of them form-wise, were pretty moderate to begin with. So she raced as she should have. She was the favorite and she won. But with Basquiat, I can't get past how I saw her at 2. Because she was always a second-rate 2-year-old to me. Like, because Tactor had a bunch of really other nice 2-year-olds that
She won 6 out of 10, though.
Against races that were not really the first-tier stakes races.
But this isn't either.
And that's true, and that's why I preface by saying I can't get past that fact. And I feel like she's going to be overbet because of the Tactor angle, and she's also very beatable.
She's going to be bet for sure, but I think she's going to be tough.
But then, like, I look at this. I don't feel like Sammy's Rolling Stone has much of a shot here. Lima Novelty was a bit interesting to me from the second tier. She can get a decent trip, but she doesn't. She's also just been racing on smaller tracks. She's raced decently. She was third to Hat Trick Habit back on May 18th here at the Meadowlands.
He was third to Atlanta, 2 back.
That's right. In New York Sire Stakes at Tioga.
Yeah, that line's probably a little bit better.
I mean, she still lost. She was the best of the rest.
Well, yeah, but like according to Rod, fast closing third is Giant, so this horse could be Giant.
Well,
where's Rod?
If it's according to Rod, then I think we have to.
Rod, where are you? You care to chime in?
Rod,
you guys just keep talking and talking and talking.
Well, chime in, Rod.
Yeah,
Who you love?
You were never much of a talker to begin with.
Who you love, Rod?
The 12, Lima Novelty.
Oh, fast closing third to the winner's circle. I love it.
There you go. There's your angle. No. Although I do like the horse a little bit to use underneath, but I think this race is probably going to be won by the 2 or the 3. They're going to be sitting up close. There's not a lot that's going to chase after these 2 early on. Maybe the 10 goes. I'm not real sure. Probably going to go and look to find a spot somewhere. Otherwise, she's going to be hung out there a long way with Svanstedt on the lead. I think we all know that. The other one is a price play. I think Fury Road is a decent price to look at. Should get a decent trip in here. Andy McCarthy jumps back on. He drove this horse 4 and 5 starts back. Was second in that consolation at Vernon. And, I think this one is the other one with the early speed and could just get out of there and get away third and just follow Svanstedt on the front end. That looks like the way to go here. And, this one, as long as she stays flat, she's got a shot at a decent price as well.
I just want to say this. I was reminded I have the Meadowlands feed up currently. I turned on Pocono last week because I was working my shift as a news editor. And I was going to keep track of the stakes races over at Pocono. And they just wrapped up the pregame show. And lo and behold, the Often Pacing commercial comes on. And I hear my voice on that feed. And I can't escape myself, it seems, in this business.
You're everywhere now. NahooPicks.com everywhere, too.
I like Repentance in this Reynolds Trot. I feel like Lima Novelty is a good horse to use underneath. One thing I'm wondering is why Lucky Ava's not Oaks eligible. That's interesting to me. The Oaks eligibles in this race, off of memory, because I think I remember him pretty well. Fair Chase is eligible, Basquiat's eligible, Chow Dulce's eligible, Fury Road's eligible, Rolling Stone's eligible, Repentance is eligible, What a Knockout is eligible, and Lima Novelty's eligible. And those are the Oaks hopefuls in the race, which that's sometimes an angle you can use. But Lima Novelty seems like she'll be a decent price to at least complete the ticket. I'd consider using Basquiat underneath, but I prefer Lucky Ava more.
I like Lucky Ava best.
The second elimination for the Meadowlands Pace is the 8th race. It comes right after the 7th, which, I mean, when you think about it, it makes a lot of sense why it comes after the 7th being the 8th race, but you really have to think about it. And we have 2 supplements into the Meadowlands Pace entered in this race. You'd think that they might want to divvy them up, but
no.
They're gonna go for the same cash. Courtly Choice starting from post 2, and Jimmy Freight starting from post 3. Now, I feel like Courtly Choice is gonna miss the final, and then win the consolation by like 30 lengths, just because that's the common trend so far.
He's been pretty unlucky, though. I mean, he can't. I mean, the NA Cup was criminal. What happened to him there? And then drew the 8-hole in his elimination against Lather Up, Nutcracker Suite, West Delight. Was, that's a tough spot for anything.
From the 8-hole, too.
Yeah.
At Pocono.
It doesn't matter because they're not beating Jimmy in this race. I don't care.
Oh, now you like Jimmy. Now you like Jimmy.
I've always liked him.
Oh. You didn't like him in because he was a 3-year-old in the Mohawk Gold Cup. He's still a 3-year-old now.
Yeah, but he's not facing Sintra, McWicked. What do you think those horses would do to these?
Race.
Pass.
Typical Ray. Let me see if I can think of something clever.
Okay, first things first. I don't have to think of anything clever because you know why? Everything that's clever just comes right out of my mouth or in my actions. I don't have to think.
If you think you're quicker than me, good luck to you.
I am a no thinker. You should know this by now, given some of the things I've said. No thoughts at all.
Me. That's all. The only thought you need for this race, Jimmy.
No, the only thought is breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Because you don't do that, Mike.
Jimmy.
I know you. I know medical school might not have taught you this, but if you don't breathe in, breathe out, you drop dead.
Jimmy.
Well, I'm gonna try to beat Jimmy Freight here.
Why?
Who was a fast closing third, Rod? It was Jimmy Freight.
Yeah, there's your angle.
Who, Rod?
Courtly Choice.
Okay, I mean, fine. I don't.
Jimmy Freight's gonna be 3 to 5.
I know. I'm not. So what? Just watch him.
What about American History's gonna take money?
I've watched him every week. I know what he's capable of. He's a very good horse. But I'm going to try to beat him.
Okay.
It's his first time down at the Meadowlands.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, he got there a few days ago.
He's a sports writer, too. Remember what happened to him. But he wasn't that good to begin with.
Well, I mean, the horse obviously deserves to be respected. I'm going to try to beat him because he's going to be a very, very short price. And Courtly Choice, he's either unlucky or tons the best. I'm hoping he's tons the best.
The races he's tons the best. He's beaten like Babes Dig Me, Heavenly Sound.
I know.
But wait, excuse, Mr. Teacher Man, I have a question. If you like Courtly Choice, and Mike kind of touched on this, you gotta like Babes Dig Me. Came out of a similar spot at Pocono in the Hempt elimination.
Got killed.
Just opted not to go in the consolation. I feel like he's viable underneath, because if you're gonna play anything in this race, you have to play an exotic, if you ask me, and you got to find the price horses that can complete it, and this horse certainly can.
I think you have to be against the one, if you want to play the race.
The one sucks a lot.
Well, he doesn't suck, but
he only won 47 because they set up the
that was
pace
a very
cards.
inflated mile last week.
Yes.
Absolutely.
The horse was giant. I mean, the horse was absolutely awesome last week.
I mean,
I'm
what's wrong with the 6?
What's wrong?
If you're looking for a price.
Odds on Lauderdale.
Yeah.
First things first, I'm not a big fan of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I'm not a big fan of Florida, period. But if you look at this horse, because he's different from the state, he looks okay.
I'm saying for a price. I don't know that he can win it. I don't think he can, but
he has the kick.
For a price to get a piece, he's sharp enough. He's kicking home like crazy. That race, remember that race on the 23rd, Rod? I mean, the horse was locked up the entire way and still flew home.
But doesn't a horse?
You remember that race?
Doesn't a horse being locked up help them when they get out? Because a lot of times they're full of pace, like he was after they went 53
You have to watch
to
this
half.
replay. Just go watch the replay.
He got out at 3/4.
No, he didn't.
But that's what the chart says.
The race. Watch the race.
But the chart says he was out. Why would the chart lie to me?
Rod, tell him, please.
Go watch it.
I don't
Just watch it. This is the difference between you and I. I actually watch the races, and you look at stuff and just assume things, and then you take it as gospel instead of watching the races.
Well, here's my reason.
He was out at 3/4. Well, you didn't watch the race. He wasn't.
I've seen enough races to know how things go.
We're going to talk about this off the air.
I've seen enough.
Yes, because they're getting ready
Because
to go.
I'm going to lose my mind in about 5 seconds.
Oh, Rod, did you get the anger bar ready? Did we get that out of beta?
No.
I want this to be the sound when it hits the top.
No. Couple shout outs to Johnny Roberts, who's watching.
Johnny
Jason
Roberts!
Solomon,
I missed that other name.
Mike Bozich,
We need to move on.
Palmer.
I missed that one too. I'm shouting them out.
Who are you shouting out?
I'm shouting out the names, except I'm actually shouting them out. You're not really much of a shouter. You're a very soft-spoken yet angry person.
Yeah, you don't understand the concept of shout outs.
No, I
You
do,
just
because
literally.
in order to shout, you have to escalate the
No.
voice in
Taking
decibels.
it literally is not the same.
Look,
By the way, we're all still live in the pick 4.
Yes. And there actually, if you look, there's 5,500 left. The pool was 112,000.
I'm live to 1, 5, and 9.
and I will beat Rod with a dictionary. I am alive
I
to
have
5.
1, 3, 5, 7, 8.
5. The 5 is 12-1. Hold on. Hold the phone. Hello, Mrs. Lady. Will you take
We
my
got 20 minutes and
money?
we have a lot to do.
What?
It's 20 minutes or 20 seconds to this race.
Yeah, well, I put my money on Mrs. Lady.
Looks like the 2's going back to the paddock.
Uh-oh. 2 has paddock
Well,
problem.
then let's talk about the graduate pace.
The graduate pace is a time-honored tradition, mostly because it's held every year, and this year it goes for $250,000 like it does every year, and it's the 10th race on the Saturday program. We got 1, 2, 10 horses on post for in this race. Highlighter to the outside has been racing really well in the series. He starts from post 10. He's 3-1 on the morning line, making him the morning line favorite. Me So Fast has been off since June 10th, but here Louis Philippe Roy picks up the drive. He's 7-2 on the morning line. And the third choice here at 9-2, the 3 Western Joe, who just seems to have not really hit his best stride at this stakes level yet. Still picks up checks and is still involved. He's 9-2 as the third choice. I feel like this is a very competitive race, and partially that's because I look at Max Jackpot and he finished third at 103-1, which makes me think.
I don't hate Max Jackpot in the race,
I don't
but I
hate
love
him
the horse in this race.
But Rod, I think you had a strong feeling.
My strong feeling was the last
Indigestion.
2 weeks when Max Jackpot. I told you guys he would hit the ticket. Oh, he's not hitting the ticket here.
No, I
I don't
didn't say
sound
that.
like that.
You guys were talking smack about my pick on
No,
Max.
I don't mind this horse. I like this horse.
Rod, there's a difference. We were talking smack about you, not the horse.
And he made money again and again. He's gonna be a very good older
How
horse.
would
I
you
think.
like in this race, please?
Yeah, I don't really care if he's going to be an older horse or not. I care about this race. This race.
I like him in this race.
To win?
You like Max Jackpot?
To win.
Yep.
You think he can beat Highlighter? You think Highlighter is beatable?
Yes. Yes.
Anybody else?
I feel like the pace could screw Highlighter if he leaves, because he has to leave, unless he
Reed.
doesn't.
I love the 8. I feel like he's going to murder these.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't worry you that there's more speed that could tank him?
It doesn't matter because I think that he's faster. The only race he lost the Franklin final, but he had no shot there. I mean, McWicked was shot out of a cannon. Those are better horses. Those are older horses. That race, whenever Sintra went and, decided to go through the infield, he was, legitimately second in there, with his speed. He controls the race. I'm curious to see what Highlighter does, but I just feel like that Filibuster's a better horse, and a lot of the stuff inside him is going to sit. So he's not going to get that much pace pressure early. It all depends on what the 10 does. If the 10 sits, the 8 will win for fun.
Okay. I feel like
That's just my opinion.
I feel like if he's around that 8-1 price, I definitely consider that.
Oh God, no! You're never gonna get that. I'd be happy with 4.
Which I mean, like we've talked about those moments where you look at the board and you go, wait, why is this horse this price? This seems like one of those races where that would end up being how you play it. Or like me so fast is 9-2. What? Or say like, don't tell me again's 15-1. What? Bloodline's 20-1. Well, he deserves to be 20-1.
Who do you like?
Don't tell me again's interesting. Just because he raced well in the Franklin. He had a perfect trip, albeit to finish 4th there. He still kicked home strongly, so it's not like he totally retreated off of that. Could work out a similar trip from the inside. He's going to be a decent price. Besides him, nothing else really stands out on paper. Looking at it,
I don't mind Max Jackpot underneath. I think he can certainly hit the board, but I don't know that he can win the race. I mean, he doesn't really like to win all that much. He needs it to really fall over.
Which
I think he could possibly get the setup, and that's why I like him.
You're going to get paid if he wins. No question.
If Me So Fast gets a trip, he can do well here too. I don't know how he's going to be bet.
I don't know what the Wah drive. That's the very big curiosity of it all.
Wah can sit with horses too.
Barely. He wants to be in front more than he wants to be president.
Well, I don't know how that makes sense because he can only be prime minister. Rod, are you trying to raise the roof? What are you doing?
No, I'm saying we got to move on.
What do you mean we got to move?
Yes, we do.
Oh, hello. Yes. As the 10th race, there's still a shoe repair going on Miss Bling. We have races to talk about from Running Aces for Sunday, July 8th.
Sunday.
Wait, how can, is it? It's not 11:15. The clocks are broken. There's no way. There's
a way.
That's wrong. But we're going to talk about this anyway. Before we get into the pick 4, there's 2 eliminations for the Dan Patch free-for-all pace, and it starts with the 8th race, which coincidentally also kicks off the jackpot pick 5 over Running Aces, which I don't know what the carryover is there at the moment. I think there's still a carryover. I don't think anyone hit it.
There is. It's Darren, I know you're still watching. What's the carryover in the jackpot pick 5?
Because you could.
I want to say it's like around 1,500.
Which is, I mean,
because it did get hit like 3 out of 4 nights. It was crazy.
Now with this race, well, first things first. Nuclear Dragon has the most speed on paper. But he's also coming from Northfield off a 50-1 win. Meanwhile, Roland and Rock has the class of the race, and he's coming in off of the Iowa Fairs, and he's 2-1 second choice on the morning. And of course, you have the local horse Fire Drake, who won this race last year. He's the 3rd choice, and I feel like the value of the race. But at the same time, Roland and Rock seems like he's supposed to be the horse to beat.
What's wrong with the one?
What's wrong with the one? Who's the one? Hawks Red Chief chases.
Well, yeah, but he gets a giantly better post. He has 5 wins this year. He's been in the mix every time. He's not going to have to kill himself to get that early position now. He's going to get a trip in the race. And, I feel like he's going to be ignored. I mean, you mentioned 4 horses before. You didn't even think about this one.
I feel like Fire Drake is a better horse, hands down.
Really? I mean, right now, you think he is?
Yeah. I feel like he's rounding back into form.
My Hawks Red Chief last time.
Well, but... they had, okay. I mean, but the one definitely gets a giant post switch for sure.
But at the same time, it's like Roland and Rock is, he could be a single if you're playing this pick.
I don't know what to expect from that one. I really don't.
He is a single. He's way better than these horses. Mm-hmm. He will win this race. He'll win for fun.
Okay. You would know better than me.
Miss Bling stepping back onto the track.
The carryover is just under $3,000 for the jackpot pick 5.
So,
what's tomorrow's look like, Rod? You looked, didn't you?
I glanced at tomorrow's. I still got to do the write-ups.
Okay.
All right. So Miss Bling's back on the track. They'll be going to gate momentarily. Let's quickly run through this first leg of the pick 4. $7,500 guarantee. The 9th race. It's the
they're about to go to the gate. Why would we go through it right now?
Because I did not see the countdown clock, did I, Rod?
He's on that. They already put it up.
They can put it up again.
No, they're not. Trust me.
Why not?
They're going right to the gate.
All right then. We'll talk about that first leg after this race, and we'll run through that sequence. Wow,
Aaron,
they were really going to the gate, Rod.
What do you say?
Darren likes Fire Drake on top.
He's definitely the price of the race.
I mean, I'm looking for a price in the race.
Fire Drake will be a price.
Not as good a price as the one.
Well, that's without doubt. However,
True.
they're going to the gate. Danery's Hanover to the outside. It's a 6-5 favorite. 3-1 on the 8. I Command My Spirit. 6-1 on the 1, the second star. Scratch down to a field of 9, all in line, in motion, and approaching the start. Often pacing sheer talent with speed, as with I Command My Spirit alongside Danery's Hanover leaves 2 under Gingras encouragement. The second star pushes through to the rail around the first turn to be 4th, while Miss Bling floats away 5th. Jenna Hanover's back 6th, then in front of Mohara Hanover 7th. Cedar Hall Heiress is 8th then. That's back to Majestic Toddy trailing this field as I Command My Spirit got to the front of the opening quarter. Danery's Hanover's parked out and marching onwards to take the lead through 27-2 opening clip. Sheer Talent's 3rd to the back stretch. The second star sits 4th. Miss Bling remains 5th as they move on to 3/8. Jenna Hanover moves to the outside 6th as Cedar Hall Heiress begins a bid to the outside, looking for cover with Majestic Toddy behind them, moving to the half-mile station. Danery's Hanover trying to ration out her speed here to the half-mile in front of I Command My Spirit by a length and a half. Sitting 3rd to the inside, locked in. Sheer Talent is out and moving. Comes the second star through a 55 4/2, 28-2 that second quarter. Miss Bling 2nd over, then to the far turn. Jenna Hanover's in that flow 3rd over. 4th over, then Cedar Hall Heiress. Mohara Hanover paces to the inside, the penultimate one, about 5.5, 6 lengths off the lead, and Majestic Toddy moves to the outside in the back. Battle on the lead here midway around the far turn. Danery's Hanover's a neck in front. The second star to the outside applies pressure. I Command My Spirit then locked in by Miss Bling, ready to tip 3 high from the back then. Jenna Hanover, and looming towards the center, Cedar Hall Heiress. 124-1. They gotta catch Danery's Hanover into the stretch. Room opens for I Command My Spirit to angle off the rail. Sheer Talent with room then to move up the inside, but they come on down to the 8th pole. It's down to 2. Danery's Hanover sprinting. I Command My Spirit lunging. They're well in front of Sheer Talent as Danery's Hanover leads to the line and gets it. Danery's Hanover from I Command My Spirit, then Sheer Talent 3rd in 152-1. 6-5 favorite. I move on. Rod moves on in the pick 4.
Oh, chalk it up, boys.
Itchy nose. Itchy nose. First leg of the pick 4 at Running Aces for Sunday. It's also the second elimination for the Dan Patch. And there are 2 horses in particular I like. They aren't really groundbreaking horses. They're pretty obvious. Gold Star Misty, the mare, she's just been racing tremendously here at Running Aces, and I feel has the form to beat these horses very easily. And the 7, Trashy Tongue Talker, who just makes sense because he has speed shipping in from tougher circuit over at Hoosier and also has decent miles over at Hawthorne. I'm 5-7 that race. I feel like... Oh, yeah, Rod, you agree with me there, except you also throw on Stevensville.
Yeah. Stevensville's, he's a horse he's been racing pretty well. His thing, he's usually up close. Last time he made a quarter move. His stablemate was on the front end, and he made that move, got by him pretty easily. But, he draws inside again. I think he's a must-use here. There's not really a lot that I see in this race. Trashy Tongue Talker. He's a big horse. He doesn't. I don't think he's as good on a smaller track. I think he's a big track horse, and maybe he's going to have a more difficult time with his style of racing because he does like to grind a little bit. So we'll see. I like 3, 5, and 7.
Now, Mike, what I found strange is you don't even use the 5 and the 7.
Yeah, I like the 2 inside. 2 to the limit I've been chasing a little. That mile 2 back was massive. Flew from the 8 hole and basically was last up until the last couple steps, and that was a big race. Should have never been 23-1 in there, but that's when Best in the Business got away. Then missed a week. Last time was in another tough spot from the back, draws better, and I feel like could be in play, especially with all the speed in the race from the outside. There's with the 5, the 7, a lot of them going. So I feel like it could set up for him. And another horse that's going to be a price. And then the 3, Stevensville, who is racing extremely well, and is going to be involved in the mix early with that speed. But I just feel like it's better than the mare and better than like Rod said, the big track horse who's stuck with the outside post. I'll try 2 and 3 in the first.
Second leg of this pick 4 is the 10th race on Sunday. Mike, I felt like of all the races, this one is probably the most wide open, perhaps next to the one following this. But as for you agreed with that and you go all.
Yeah, I was all here. No real opinion. A lot of these horses are struggling. The horses that are in form are drawn outside. I really have I feel like any horse, even the 7 getting second Lasix can win. I'm not going to use 6 out of 8. I'll just use them all and see how it works.
However, Rod, you'll use 4 out of 8.
Yeah, I'm going 4 deep. The 2, I think this horse fits and draws inside. Should stay close and makes moves every so often, which is a good sign for me. To me, so I'll throw him on. Opticrombie, the 6, has hit the board the last 3 starts. Obviously, this horse plays well here. Must use. The 7, Avoid the Noise, second time Lasix, big angle for me, and comes off a decent race. I'm going to throw him on, and then the 8 is the obvious horse here, Fear Factor. You got to have him on your ticket.
I agree, and I use him. I use Fear Factor. I also use the 4, Read Me My Rights, who's my price horse in this race, coming in from the fair circuit off of 2 straight wins. Moved up to this level 3 back and just broke. He didn't get away well because of the outside post. I feel like, given his win at non-winners of 1, if he could somehow pull that form into this race, he could certainly win. And plus, I've seen a lot of these fair horses come back and do very well, which that said is why I use them. I'm 4-8. I agree Fear Factor is probably the best horse on paper, but the post is a bit of a concern. However, at the same time, he's probably the best horse. The 11th race, though, perhaps the most wide open because it's a maiden race, and Rod, you particularly are really vouching on the fact that the 9, Singin' Sandy, is just miles faster than these.
Way, way better. This horse will go off like 3 to 5 from the 9 hole. And if you get even money, you can just bet with both fists.
You want to bet both fists on a horse that's 0 for 12 from the 9 hole.
At
That
3
came
to 5.
31-1 last time.
That was a fair.
Doesn't matter.
Yes,
It was 6
does.
at
It's
a
a
fair. It was
half-mile
last.
Okay, show me something else in here. It can go in 56.
Well, but I don't think I think
No. Show me something.
advocating. Yeah, okay. There's that 56 line, but there's a lot of last place finishes and getting murdered.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's
and
why.
still get the 9 hole.
Against
I don't
stakes
know.
horses. That's against
They're
stakes
all
horses.
Minnesota
This
bred.
horse is way better. Way better.
Okay. Well, the horse has made 3,700. I wouldn't remortgage the house yet, Rod. If you're planning on it, good luck to you.
Well, I'm leaning my ticket. My ticket is on that horse. If she loses, I lose.
I use that horse. However, I also
use them.
I also use Aveti, even though she has a lot of breaks. She still has the potential, if Singin' Sandy is not a 56 pacer, as I kind of think she might not be, because there's a difference between
She
finishing.
can be a 59 pacer and win.
Yeah, but she could also be a 2-minute pacer, and all of these other horses
win.
can go 2 minutes. Aveti
And win.
Aveti made a decent move last out, although kind of just for some reason got a little bit head shy and stuck her, then started hanging, then she broke. It wasn't really that great of a stretch drive, but she still put herself into the mix last out, and that to me is what I look for, because in a race where there's almost nothing else, you got to look for something like that if you're not just going to go to the favorite, which I'm not. And I also use the 1 Mystic Wonder, who closed well last time out, to finish second and can also win this race if the 9 is not up to form. I'm 149. Mike, you somewhat agree with me on the one, but you go to the 2-year-old.
Yeah, I'm 1-7 on the one. 0 for 15, but draws well. Finished second last time. The 7 is, interesting in the sense that this horse has been right there the last 3 out of the last 4 races, and it's taken money too. And I don't mind Longo. At least he tries. It's a 4-year-old against some younger ones, and then the 9, like Rod said. I don't have the confidence he has, but I get it. I mean, it's impossible to not use the horse.
It's also hard to have the confidence Rod has. Let's get some, or here's some pick 4 pays also. So the 4 and the 8 for 50 cents. The 4 returns $73.
Yeah.
And the 8 returns almost $100.
Well, that's what happens when the 9 wins the 3rd leg.
Yeah.
So we needed a price on that one.
Which, that said, once again, if it comes in, Ray's ticket, the most profitable. The final leg of this pick 4 is the 12th race. Now winners of 5 to 6. I felt this was also a really wide open race. However, I looked closer at it. I was able to narrow down to 3 horses I feel stand out. Rod, you just couldn't.
No, I thought this race was wide open. There was a lot of different angles I looked at here trying to find, a horse I could confidently toss off a ticket, and I just couldn't do it. So I hit the all button here. Nothing stands out to me. I'm not going to try to toss 1 or 2 of them. So I just used all. And as you can see on the live feed, on the video feed, makes my ticket $54.
Now, Mike, you narrowed it down to 2, and I like the 2 you use, but you don't use the 1, which is strange to me.
I could see the 1. The horse, got back into like the numbers of 4 or 5s last time and raced well enough, but had a perfect trip and still couldn't win. And you know how I hate those types.
Would you call that a perfect trip? He made 2 moves.
Last
out.
I don't know.
Okay.
But in the instance of time, I like the 2 who broke at the gate last time and still rallied well. Ended up, that was a really goofy race that night. I mean, this horse was 16 behind to within 3/4 of a length of the front, and then ended up tiring at 3 to 5. If the horse stays flat, going to be very difficult to beat. And then I'll try the 2 or the 4 also, who was claimed and stepped and has 5 wins this year. Draws better. The horse raced okay at this level, 2 back, even though it was 40 to 1. So 2 and 4.
I agree with those 2, but I also like Crash and Burn, who moved up to this level after decent miles from poor posts against the step below this, and a decent mile against the numbers of 2,700. Any kind of more conservative trip than the one he got last out should win him this race. And if he's anywhere near the 7 to 1, I'd probably even book him to win. So that said, I'm 1-2-4 in the last leg, which makes my ticket go as follows for 50 cents, starting in the 9th race of the $7,500 guaranteed pick 4 running aces. I am 5-7 with 4-8 with 1-4-9 with 1-2-4. That's $18 for 50 cents. Mike, your ticket.
2-3 with all with 1-7-9 with 2-4. It's 48.
And Rod.
3-5-7 with 2-6-7-8 with 9, the winner, with all $54.
That said, that does it for another edition of North American Harness Update. Next week, we cover the Meadowlands Pace. The week after that, no show Friday. The show is Sunday at Running Aces Casino and Racetrack, July 22nd. Post time for that, or show time for that, to be determined. Meantime, you can go over to NahuPicks.com, NahuPicks.com, where you can find archives of this show, as well as racing analysis every race day from the Meadowlands Racetrack, Woodbine Mohawk Park, and Running Aces, as provided by Mike and Rod, and occasionally myself. But that said, I have been Ray Cotolo. They're Mike Pribozie and Rod Allums Jr., and next time the clouds blow westerly, maybe the sun will shine on through.